Hello, my friend. My name is Shantae. Today, we're going to talk about how dreams are portals and how to use your dreams to guide you on your path. This is one of my favorite topics. And if you've ever known me personally, you will know that I have pretty wild dreams and I have seen a lot in my dreams. And in the last year and a bit, on my spiritual path, I've seen so much. I've seen so much. So I'm going to talk to you about what dreams are and also give you a step-by-step guide of how to start to use your own dreams to interpret them. Before we begin, let's just take a deep breath together. Ground ourselves here. Okay. What is so fascinating about the dream world is that your soul travels, right? Your soul has no limit. And your soul not only exists in this world, in this earth, what we call earth, in this solar system, but your soul also exists in a spiritual world. And there are many worlds, many worlds, but based on your level of consciousness and awareness, you'll be at a specific place in one of those many beautiful worlds. But your soul also exists in other spiritual and other physical worlds. There are other earths. What is really fascinating is the more that you realize that this world is a mirage, like the desert, like we think we're seeing the world as it is, but we're not actually seeing the world as it really is. We're kind of seeing a creation that she, the beautiful, all-loving creator, she created for us to all have something to relate to, right? If we were not seeing the same thing, we'd just be in this video game on our own. It would be very confusing, right? Everyone's like a non-player player. So we do exist in a world that has a common reality that we're all a part of, but we also exist. Just gonna move that down. We also exist in a spiritual world, and the more that we open our eyes, the more we can see the truth, not just of ourselves, but of other people. We can see the truth. So someone might say something to you in words that has like a certain meaning in this world, like just grammar. But when you go into your dream portal, you'll start to see what they're really saying, what is really going on. I have used dreams for a long time to guide me, for a very long time. And I have started to really tap into them using this technique, which I'll show you, to start to actually peer more into the veil, through the veil, and to see what's really going on. It has really guided me. It's actually protected me from a lot of things. It's also pulled me to where I need to go on my path spiritually. So dreams are actually not always literal, and they're also not always symbolic. A long time ago, when I was in high school, I had this really thick book that was like a dream interpretation A to Z. And there were common things like if a snake is biting you, you're going to be harmed, and clouds mean this. And if you have a baby, it means there's a new life and all of that. And I think there is some certain truth to that. But what I have realized on my path is that your dreams are sometimes literal. And what is happening is actually really happening. And a lot of it is talking about the energetics of people, of your path and people around you. And sometimes it is symbolic, but the symbolism isn't the way someone has interpreted it. So don't go to Google, because you need to tap into your own soul to see the interpretation. And we'll talk about that in a moment, how to do it. I feel like I should give some examples of what I've seen, but I'll read this first. This is from Baha'u'llah. And he says, one of the created phenomena is the dream. Behold how many secrets have been deposited therein, how many wisdoms treasured up, how many worlds concealed. Observe how thou art asleep in a dwelling and its doors are shut. On a sudden thou findest thyself in a far-off city, which thou enterest without moving thy feet or wearing thy body. Without taxing thine eyes thou seest. Without troubling thine ears thou hearest. Without a tongue thou speakest. And perchance when 10 years have passed, thou wilt witness in this temporal world the very things thou hast dreamt tonight. But I have found, to be honest, when I have my dreams, they're pretty immediate. They're like, this is what's really going on in your life. So let's talk about the how. Let's talk about the how. What is so important is to get into the habit of writing things down as soon as you see something, and to not interpret, to not rationalize or make sense. So you want to keep a journal next to your bed with like a blank piece of paper. Definitely no phone. Do not touch your phone, because your brain will go into this world. It will start to connect in here and you'll lose the memory. So you want to have a journal and a pen. And as soon as you wake up, you might wake up at 3 a.m, you might wake up at whatever normal time. It doesn't matter when you wake up, but as soon as you wake up, just grab your pen, even close your eyes. This is what I do. And just write it down. Write down what you saw, who said what. Don't try to make sense of it. Write it down, write it down. Then when you're in your daily connection to your beautiful soul, your beautiful heart, and you're connecting to her, the creator, please do this every day if you're not already. This is your sign to start. And in the morning, start in the morning. Always to start your day, connect with her, connect to your soul. And yes, you can do it throughout the day and in the evening too, but start your day with this. And when you're doing your daily tuning into the spiritual worlds, ask her what the dream meant. Ask her and trust your intuition of what it was telling you. This is so important because everyone that you ask for an interpretation will give their own bias, and they'll often project their own memories or their own views or their own what's holding them back in their life. They'll project that in their advice. And there's so much more to the spiritual worlds than we will ever understand. So you don't want to stick to what already exists. You want to tune into your heart. And whatever comes to you is the truth. And the more that you can trust her to guide you on your spiritual path, the more that you ask her to guide you and you trust what she's telling you is truth, the more that you'll see the symbolism of it. I think I need to give you an example of this. I mean, I've had dreams of friends where I saw a couple. This is a nice, easy example. I saw a couple who were dating at the time. They were very young. They were like 18 and 20, or actually, no, they were younger. I think she was 16 and he was 18. Yeah, they were young. And they hadn't been together that long. And I dreamt that they went to a very special place, which was symbolic to both of them, and that they were married and they had a son. And I told them about this dream. And of course, yeah, it came true. They were meant to be together. This relationship was going to happen. And this was a time when you just don't know. I mean, you don't even know now if the relationship is going to become like a union for life. I also had dreams earlier this year that guided me in a really difficult experience that I was having. And I've talked about this I've symbolically talked about this in earlier films before I got this beautiful camera. But what was happening is I was in a work situation with a very difficult person. This was someone who, because of their own insecurities and their own fears, and I guess their own self-hatred, anyone that shone, anyone that wanted to grow, they would squash. And they did it in a very cunning way, a very manipulative way. So an example is they asked me to put together a strategy, which took me a month. They knew that I was working on this because we would talk about it in chats. We would talk about it at our meetings. And I would give them updates of all the people I was meeting about this strategy. And then when I went to present it to them and another senior manager, they thrashed it. They said, this is not aligned with the university at all. Now I've kind of given a bit of away. This is not aligned with this entity. This is not, we don't need a strategy. We already have one. No one's going to support this. This does not give any benefit. Like, it was slammed. And there are a lot of other things that happened with this person. That was one of the early experiences I had. But this year, I went through a massive hurricane. And when I can feel I'm getting emotional about it already. Oof. I'm in a good place now. When your livelihood is threatened, when your income is threatened, and someone intentionally causes you harm, you can sit there and question, why is this happening? Why is this happening? What I have realized is that that's not divine will, but you can turn it into your greatest growth. So when this erupted and became like anything could have happened, right? We were at the critical point. And I could have lost my livelihood, my source of income, which would have been absolutely devastating in Australia because the cost of living is unimaginable. So I had a dream. I actually didn't connect in because I was so, I was so angry for a few days. I'm going to be honest. I was angry. I was like, you're supposed to help me. You're not helping me. You're not helping me. Oh, something just hit the roof. Yeah, you remember. I was so angry because I was like, well, you're supposed to help me. Why is this happening? I was on my path. I've found, my heart. I found the divine. I'm living my highest self. Why is this person doing this to me? This is taking so much out of me. It was destroying my physical health. It was harming my mental health. I was having repeated panic attacks, which is really tiring. It's so tiring. And it's hard to go out when you're not sure if you're going to have a panic attack. I laugh about it, even though it was horrible at the time. So I did not tune in for a few days. I'm going to be honest with you. And when I finally did, I had this portal open. And I mean, it was a dream, but it was also kind of like a live visitation, which we'll talk about in another video. But yeah, it was a dream. And the dream was, I was in this very grim city, like dark, dirty, like kind of think like what we thought of New York, what New York was like back in the 80s and the 90s. Dangerous, dark, people out to get everyone, crime everywhere. And there was a lot of blackness as well. There was a lot of darkness around. And people were attacking me. And this beautiful angel appeared. And he stood between me and these people. They weren't anyone I knew. They were just people who were trying to harm me. And he was like darting left to right. Like they would throw something at me. I won't get graphic because I don't want to trigger anyone, but they were trying to get to me, right? And he was physically blocking them. And then he lifted me up and we shot through the sky And we ended up in this beautiful garden. And he said to me, we're trying to protect you. And he said, this incident that happened with this person at work, he said, this is a good thing because it exposes them. He said, before you couldn't see what they were doing. Like you knew, but you didn't have the evidence. Now you have the evidence. And we wanted it to get to this point, actually, because they were not going to stop. They were not going to leave you alone. So it's almost like they exposed themselves, but it was like there was this push from the divine for this person to expose himself, which at the time caused me so much harm and pain and suffering. But it gave me the evidence. It gave me the evidence. And when he told me this, I was like, oh, now I see. And even though it took, I didn't have an answer immediately of like the closure of what was going to happen. I was guided through the dream. And so I was told, you have the evidence, now you can escalate. So then I went, okay, now I need to go through the formal channels in my human life, in this physical world, and report this. And I had all the evidence. I had messages, I had emails, I had records of meetings, and I had enough to piece a story together of what had been like brimming in the background for, 7-8 months at this point. So I went through the formal channels, and you will not believe what happened. 2 weeks after that report went out, this person resigned. And they were removed from my life. And I could not have known what to do had I not tuned in to my dream. Had I not looked at the dream and seen what was going on, that I was in a really bad situation and I was trying to be pulled out, and I had to tune in and ask. That's the intuition part. Like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? And I got the answer, and then I could take the action. So this is why dreams are so special, because you are constantly being guided. It's just you don't, until you realize you're being guided and that you're a soul and there are all these angels around you who are all returning you home to this beautiful creator, who you are part of her. You can't see what's guidance versus what's actually like pulling you away on your path or causing you harm. So this is where your dreams can help you. And then once you realize this, you'll never look at your dreams the same. I have dreams that are, I guess, like gibberish. I still have those dreams. I sometimes have nights where I don't dream of anything. Sometimes I have dreams that have no meaning, but very often I have dreams that are pretty special. So yeah, I hope this helps you. I hope this guides you. I hope this shows you something you can use, like a tool that you have at your disposal that's free and that is unique to your path, that's going to bring you home to her. So remember, have your journal next to your bed, have a pen, don't interpret, and just write it down. And even if you don't know what it means or you're not getting the answer straight away, get into the habit of writing your dreams down and tuning into her, to the divine, and asking her for guidance. And just do this again and again and again and again. The more you practice it like a skill, the more you'll be able to get the information that you need and be guided on what to do in this earthly life, what to do next to guide you. So your soul is guided by the angels. You can allow these angels to guide you in this world. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
8, 17, 25, 2/3 alive. I can still breathe enough of the time, enough to pretend like I'm alright.